Okay, so I think we're ready to go,
Let's do it.
everyone. So, okay, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April 22nd Town Board meeting. It's a regular meeting and workshop, and please join me while we pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so may I have a motion to accept the minutes of April 8th and 12th?
I make a motion?
A second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we are going to just do a little housekeeping here. There's a couple of items to be, that I'm going to ask the board to approve to be added to the agenda. And that, the first is to be the resolution scheduling a public hearing on local law number D of the year, enacting a 6-month moratorium on telecommunications towers and facilities applications pursuant to Chapter 101 of the Town Code. So may I have a motion to add that to the agenda?
I make a motion?
A second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, I think we'll just kind of lead right into that workshop for Warren to talk about that.
Okay. I was recently, just the other day, apprised of the fact that there is a cell tower, possible cell tower application in town. We haven't had one in a long time. So this is the first opportunity I've had to really go over Section 101 of the town law, which deals with cell towers. It was also brought to our attention by Mr. Sweet that that there are some inconsistencies in the law. One of which is that the special use permit for those towers is issued by the Zoning Board of Appeals rather than the Planning Board. I believe this is because this was adopted so long ago. At that time, special use permits were approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Now they're approved by the Planning Board. And then when I looked at the law, I thought it might be an easy fix to change that. And then I noticed a lot of other issues in the law that really needed to be attended to. The law is not consistent with subsequent amendments to the town code, which really need to be incorporated in the law. And we also may want to take a look at those areas in the town in which the cell towers had been permitted, which we may not want to have in the future. So rather than a very simple local law, it's going to take a little bit of time to review this. And I don't know whether we want to have, I can certainly do it in conjunction with the planning board or the planning board attorney, or we can have a special committee appointed. We can decide how we're going to approach that. But the first step would be to enact a local law imposing a 6-month moratorium on these applications until such time as we can get the local law revised. I think that's all the time we need. Yeah. So I prepared a local law, and I do have a provision in there for a hardship waiver, if that's appropriate, and a resolution setting the public hearing date on the local law. It's a type 2 action under SEQRA. It's not subject to environmental review, so it's a fairly simple process. It's not something that has to be forwarded to Dutchess County Planning, but we do want to forward it to our planning board for their input and advice. So that will be put on the agenda to adopt start the local law adoption process for the moratorium.
Good. Okay, well, thanks for your very quick action. Like you said, we only found out about it in the middle of last week, and I think it's good that we update the law in the interim and make sure that we're covering all bases. And I know we have our ZBA chair here, so he might have some comments on that. So, okay, well, that's good. So we'll get to that resolution in a few minutes. So then the second resolution that I'd like to ask to be added is a second shared service application to ask the board to approve submission to Dutchess County for their municipal innovation grant a second phase of streamlining the land use process. So that I realized that application is due May 2nd, and so I'm working with a couple of other people on submitting this second application, so I did want to ask the board for approval to go ahead and do that.
So I make a motion to add 422-6 of 2019 for the shared services.
A second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Okay, so I did happen to skip over the public comment on the resolutions only, so if anyone would like to join us at the dais and make any comments on actually either the resolutions or any matter of town business, please do so by stating your name and limiting your comments to 3 minutes. Okay, so no one wants to step up to the plate there, so we'll lead right into our second workshop, and very happy to have our police chief and our commissioner of emergency response, Dana Smith, join us at the table. Come on up, Dana, and Rob, and we've been, and of course, Lieutenant Kacha. So thank you for coming out after being at work all day, and second round, right?
Yes. Well, thank you for having us. Lieutenant's handed out a couple documents I'm going to refer to, and Dana's going to refer to when we get to that point. So basically, we wanted to come today to kind of bring everyone up to speed. Aileen and I have been working on this probably since 2017. We went to a Municipal Innovation Summit at the Poughkeepsie Grand, and we went there and they were talking about a shared service agreement with the town of Poughkeepsie and Dutchess County for police software. So Aileen said to me, what about our police software? Is this something that we would need or we need to look at? So we started analyzing, Eric and I started analyzing the current system that we have. So I'll give you a little bit of history. Back in 1996, we went from a handwritten blotter, which was a ledger that had handwritten information in it. So you can imagine what some people's handwriting looked like when you went back and tried to research whether or not we had contact with a certain individual, or even just trying to look at accidents and things of that nature. So everything was handwritten back in 1995 when I started here. So Jim McKenna went and signed a contract with Impact Police Software back in 1996. And we've been using that current software. That's what we're still using today. There's been upgrades here and there, but it's not really efficient for what we need at this point. So the number one problem in police work back when I started in 1995 was communication. Well, the number one problem today is still communication. You think that there's one thing that we can solve is communication. So we've come up with a plan that we think we can solve that problem. And by doing that, we're going to ask to apply for the MIG grant, which we were just talking about, Municipal Innovation Grant, to have the county fund some of that endeavor. So right now, currently, we have Impact software. We communicate with no one but ourselves. All of our records are held in-house, and if the town of Poughkeepsie, city of Poughkeepsie, the sheriff's office want to find out information on someone, they have to pick up the telephone, call us. Hopefully, we have someone available that can do a little bit of research to figure that out. Well, we all know that people commit crimes over the town line. They don't go up, oh, we're into the town of Poughkeepsie, nope, we're going to stay in Hyde Park. So back 8 years ago, they started a Dutchess County Field Intelligence Unit. So basically, every department in the county sends someone to this meeting, and we all talk about crimes that are going on in our town. We found that to be so successful in solving crimes of that nature, just sharing that information. So right now, currently, we're looking to go to New World Tyler Technologies, New World Police Software product, which is being used by Dutchess 911, the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, and the Town of Poughkeepsie Police Department. So now, when we run a name in this system, it'll tell us if they've ever committed a crime that the Sheriff's Office have handled, or if the Town of Poughkeepsie have handled, and soon, hopefully, the City of Poughkeepsie. So we'll be able to share that in real time. So we'll be able to do research on Aileen Rohr, and we'll see if she's ever been pulled over in the town of Poughkeepsie, anywhere in the county that the sheriffs may have dealt with. This is going to help us with executing warrants. We're going to have information in real time. It's going to help us find missing people. We have a lot of times we have runaway children that are in the system, but we have no way of communicating with them. And we have no way of knowing that. And a lot of times you run into these people that are missing or wanted within a few hours of it being entered into the computer, and we don't know that. So this is really going to give us real-time information. We're going to be able to share the data, and we're going to be able to share the cost of it throughout, between the county, the town, and us. So instead of us taking on this endeavor on our own, it's very expensive, and it's really cost prohibitive to do that. So one of the solutions, each component, just like everything else, when you go buy a car, you get, you know, CD player, DVD players in your cars, everything you add to it costs more money. So if we were right now to go and add an evidence tracking component or a mobile solution component, it would cost us money. Right now, we have no way of communicating from the car to the police station. We're one of the only agencies in Dutchess County that do not have mobile data terminals in the car where you can run a plate, you can check someone's license, you can check, see if someone's wanted or missing. We cannot do that. We have to radio into headquarters, wait for them to give us back a response, and it's delaying getting emergency services to where they need to be. So if we, on this spreadsheet that I gave you, at the top of it is what we're currently using, the Impact software. So if we were to upgrade to just the mobile component alone, it's $32,700 plus training, annual service comes out to be $43,000. And if you were to add modems to that, and you were to add new laptop computers that this data and this software will be able to handle, you're talking about $109,000 total, just to add to what we currently have and still not be able to communicate with anyone. If Dutchess County 911 turns a call over to us, they pick up a telephone and they have to give us all the information over the phone instead of pushing a button and us being able to get that information in the car and at the police station. So we're wasting time trying to get emergency services to where it needs to be. Last year, we handled 2,158 calls that would have been transferred, one button transfer from Dutchess County 911. So I'm going to turn it over to Dana a little bit to talk to you about the product and talk to you a little bit about the pricing that we came up with.
Well, again, thank you so much, Dana, for
Oh, no,
coming
it's
out.
my
We
pleasure.
really appreciate it, and I learned a lot just in talking with you guys for an hour.
The first thing in my job as the Commissioner of Emergency Response is to make sure I have the public's back, the emergency service back, and the municipalities, whereas the second is I need to be a good steward of everyone's tax dollars. So, and I believe that, I truly do, and this is part of that. With any significant technology purchase today, to do it on your own is cost prohibitive, as the Chief mentioned. I'll give you an example. We're in the process of doing a new next generation 911 phone system, and we brought in the city of Poughkeepsie and the town of Poughkeepsie. The city of Poughkeepsie's price alone was $310,000 to do it. But the fact they partnered with us and are coming on board our system, their price dropped to $91,000. So, you know, and for a city strapped, or any municipality that's strapped and up against a tax cap, partnering with other agencies makes good financial sense. And then from a public safety perspective, sharing information, you know, I always get nervous when you say communications because that's my world, but it is a struggle. But if we can share information across the board with as many agencies as possible, it improves officer safety because they pull that car over and they just had a negative interaction in another community and they don't know about it, or some detailed history, because once somebody's in the system, they have a jacket. And that's what it's called. It's a folder in a record management system, so all the interaction can be there. So it'll help right in the immediate fact, and later on, if there needs to be a further investigation, that information is readily available to all their agencies are on it. Then there's the whole continuity component. As the Chief says, right now, I have a human being picking up a phone and transferring a call to you, or they're sharing information. So anytime we have two human beings involved, we have the potential for an error. Errors lead to mistakes in our business. Mistakes in our business lead to bad things. So we'll still make a phone call, but it will be followed up with what we call a CAD pop. Your dispatch staff and your officers in the street will see that call come up, and all the information is there. So if something happens to the call transfer and the person drops or they have to hang up the phone right away, at least the basic information of the call is right there in front of them. Then additionally, this is a stable product. The Dutchess County has been originally New World, now Tyler New World. They have a new parent company. Since we first signed a contract with them in 1989, We went live in 1990, 91. The 911 center went live in 99. We switched to a newer version called MSP in 2006. And in 2017 and 18, we transitioned over to the new version of the software. There's routine upgrades. Our staffs, both OCIS and ours and the sheriff have become pretty much experts in it. They could provide support and direction, even at night now in the town of Poughkeepsie. When we went live a year ago, their dispatchers would call ours, hey, I'm trying to find this. And our staff in the 911 center, just because they're more used to it, would help them and it'd support them. There's redundancies and capabilities because everybody's on the same system. So if one leg of the system drops, the other entities could step up and support you. I want to be cautious saying you could go live in our 911 center because as the more agencies that come on, I'm running out of room. So I don't want to, we can take 1 or 2 agencies for a time, like the Sheriff's Department routinely do that. With their recent transition to their new offices, their staff came up and they ran their operation out of our center. If something happened to your facility in the short term, you could do the same thing. So there's that backup. Then OCIS, our IT department, not just because I work with them on a daily basis, they do a really great job as far as their infrastructure goes and supporting their infrastructure. We commit a lot of grant funding to support that infrastructure with backup servers and networks and training and different information on and software packages on cybersecurity, all different things. We just sent 4 people to Texas for a week to go to a Tyler school. So the county's making the investment in their staff, which you benefit from as well. So the exact numbers, the chief talked about them.
Yeah,
there is a cost savings there, but clearly to do it on your own would be a monumental task, and it doesn't benefit the public the way by joining a system like this would.
Great.
And one of the things, not to interrupt, when we talk about the server, this program will run off of the county server. So we will save space on our server. Right now, currently, we use our own server. So if it went down, we'd have to have PCA pull it back up out of the cloud, which would take a little bit of time. Where this is seamless, they have a backup to a backup, and we're using their server. So we're going to save space on our server, which will help our system run much longer.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we have 4 Dutchess 911 dispatchers that work part-time for us. So they already will be able to come in and help us train. And this includes all the training that we need, people to go train. And we have people right here. So if we have a question, right now we're calling down to Poughkeepsie, where Impact is under their 4th owner in the last 2 years. And now I have to call South Dakota. So unless it's an extreme emergency, I have to wait for South Dakota, them to open in South Dakota for me to get an answer for something that's going on there. So.
Well, I'm fully behind it, and I think it's great that you're spearheading it, and it's always wonderful to work with Dana and everyone at the county. And I see we have our county legislator, Will Truitt, here, and I'm sure he's coming out to support the. 100%. Okay, great. Well, thank you. Thanks for that support.
Yeah, and I have to say, Steve and Dana have been fantastic. I've annoyed them with a million different questions because. We're trying to write this grant now, and we're looking at doing this. Right. So I'm constantly calling, well, just one more question, just one more. So
well, you're doing a good job, and you and I are kind of learning about it.
Yes,
I know about grant writing, but I don't know about police work, and so we're kind of doing it together. So, yeah, but we're eager to support it, and thanks to both of you for coming out and supporting it.
A couple questions, if you don't mind, Dana. Do you know? You said that the city and the town have this program, and did the county partner with them, and what was the percentage of the shared grant did they receive?
The city has their own product. They have Tyler New World Enterprise, which is the same one we use. That's the version that with Chief Knapp, when he was there, they were a testing site. The city hopes to transition over to become on board with the county. I don't know where they are with the planning stage of that. The town applied for a grant on their own.
Okay.
And I don't know the percentages of it. I'm sorry, I can't quote to that.
So this grant wasn't through Dutchess County, it's a grant?
No, this grant is through Dutchess County.
Oh, it is.
And the town did apply for the Municipal Innovation Grant and got it.
The town of Poughkeepsie, but it's handled through a different department.
Yeah.
It's done through county planning.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
okay.
they assisted in the
Yeah, we do.
preparation.
We comment on it. We help develop it,
The
the project,
application.
but then the actual selection of who gets
And the
it, there's a
award.
committee and the award. That is a handle through my office. An email to Commissioner Rafter
Yeah.
will tell you the percentages. I know on the phone system for the city and the town, there were 2 different grants that were used. One of them isn't eligible for this product. It's a grant that we have at Emergency Response. The MIG didn't provide 100% of the funding for the phone system, but another grant that I had did. So for the phone system, which is a lot less, there wasn't 100% of the funding. And a lot of it depends on, from year to year, and Will could speak to this better than I probably, some of the grant applications have been so great, and the committee wanted to support as many as they can. Some of the projects weren't funded 100%. I'm not saying that's the case for you.
I think that's
but
kind of typical,
yeah,
that they're not fully, you know.
to try to get as bang for your buck. But I think an email to Commissioner Rafter
Sure.
of Planning, who oversees the MIG, I think he would have more information specifically to.
You know, and I don't know that this point really came out, but basically, the Dutchess County 911 obtained the license, right?
Yeah,
And that's,
OCIS. the
OCI,
IT
okay,
department.
OCI,
It's actually
okay.
their program that we use.
so they have, and we're basically getting in under that license.
Yeah.
And so that's really enabling us to capture those cost savings that you would, if, as you said, if we were to just go and try to buy this product off the shelf just for the town of Hyde Park, I think, what was the
186,000.
691,000 or?
If you
Yeah,
did it,
we're
yeah,
saving 691,000 by
Yeah.
partnering.
So,
I know
Last
the
paragraph.
town savings were more than $500,000
Yeah.
as well for them to do
It's
it.
an
and,
Next
and it
paragraph.
really, it's a good example of how sharing services benefits both, because actually the county brings in some revenue from having us as their partner, and paying part of that fee. So it's a good system.
And it also benefits, again, public safety, because now
Yeah.
all those interactions are on the same system.
Well, yeah, it's kind of amazing. I was stunned to realize that we don't actually have a quicker medium to share information with. I mean, we're chock-a-block up against the town of Poughkeepsie, and the sheriff department operates right within our town. So the fact that there has to be a call made is kind of
Yeah, and
surprising.
because of the price of this and the work, like I said, I've really been working hard on this for the last 3 months, so it's a lot of work, and it's a big item to take on, it's a big challenge, and it costs money.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel this is the time to do it, while we can apply for these grants before all the other departments start applying for the same grant. And then they're like, oh, well, we're tired of seeing that Tyler New World, well, let's see for something new. Well, let's go on quick. I tried to get on right away after Aileen and I left that meeting, and the county OCIS hadn't taken on the town of Poughkeepsie yet. They're like, let's hold on a little bit and see. We want to know how much effort and how much time it's going to take on the town of Poughkeepsie. And then once we get them up and live, we'll talk to you. So I kept calling Steve every other month, are we ready, are we ready? And finally.
Every meeting I was
yeah.
at with the chief, I heard about. And the other thing besides that, if, let's say next year, there's 3 other departments want to come on, and you're part of that. So now there's less opportunity for funding as well. And not only the town, but the town, the sheriffs, the jail, and emergency response all went live within a week of each other. So it was a lot for our T department. I have peers all across the state. We have stability in our system that others don't enjoy. And how often our system is its percentage of its operation time.
Right.
If our CAD goes down, I'll knock on wood, a couple times a year for some glitch, and you have to jump over the backup, that's a couple times a year. I have counterparts that it happens to them a couple times a month.
Yeah.
I'd be out of a job, that's unacceptable to us. And I think it's a great product, although like any software package, it's not perfect and there's challenges.
Sure.
But the work that we're doing with OCIS, the sheriffs of town, and if we're fortunate enough that you guys come on board, it'll benefit everybody, the taxpayer and the public, from a public safety perspective.
Chief, the impact, I'm assuming we have a contract, and do you know when that expires?
The contract right now, we're year to year.
We're year to
So we're looking, even if we get approved it comes out in June, we got approved in
It's called-
June,
the
we
grant
started
comes out
right
in June?
away. Yeah, so I believe it's the beginning of June, right, Will, that comes out? Yeah, so we'll know in the beginning of June, but it's still 6 months away from going live, a
Okay.
minimum of 6 months, so.
So
we'll
it
be
almost gets
around
right to the
January.
end?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I pulled a copy of that contract, and actually the contract has not been signed since 2010 when Charlie Bro signed it.
Oh, perfect.
It was the last contract that we had, so we did research that with them.
Great.
And like I said, that's why I feel confident about bringing this forward. We've looked at a bunch of different things, but nothing communicates with everyone. And like I said, the number one problem has been communication, and that's what Dana's been working on, another big project, the radio project, which I'm excited about too, we'll get to. But why are we not talking to each other? Why are we not communicating with each other and sharing information?
You already are. So
And it's so frustrating for my detectives and my guys on the road to not be able to communicate, not be able to run a plate. And you have to wait for the dispatcher to be clear and off the phone to be able to run a plate. And they're busy in there, you know, and they can now they'll be able to run a plate right in the car, and you'll get an automatic hit, and you'll know exactly what's going on. You'll be able to get, that call will also go to dispatch and it'll also go to the car. So now if they're like, was that on the second floor, was that around back? Because 911 gives such detailed information about where we're going, which is fantastic. But if you don't hear it on the radio, if there's something else going on you don't hear, you have to ask them to repeat. Now you're clogging up the radio again for someone else to try to get through with emergency response, or we have to have our dispatcher call down there and ask them. So it's just wasting time trying to get us to them as fast as possible, which is the idea of 911, is to get the closest car to the scene as fast as we can and try to give as much help as we can.
Great. Dave,
Yeah,
Neil, do you have
I have a
some
question.
questions?
Are there other municipalities there now besides the town and the sheriff or not?
On this system currently?
Yeah.
No.
So we'd be the first municipality
Well,
to come on.
besides the town.
Outside
Right.
of the town of Poughkeepsie.
Right, and the
Yeah.
sheriff.
Yeah.
And we can talk to all three.
Yeah.
If another town comes on later, we can talk with them too?
Yeah, you're on the same network. Then additionally, we're currently exploring the connectivity to Ulster County. In Greene County, they're on the same CAD. So in theory, what you could do, you just gotta figure out a way to pay for it all, because there's that part of it. But a jacket could be in something created on somebody in Greene County, and you interact with them in Hyde Park. That information will be there.
Oh.
You know, that, as we progress forward to something called Next Generation 911, you're gonna see more and more of that. And Ulster County has always been a Tyler customer. Greene is a new one. I'm trying to think, Rockland County uses it as well. But there are 1, 2, 3 other police departments, without naming them, that are very interested in this product and coming on board with this program after you guys look at it.
I told them to get behind me. We're going full steam ahead.
They're first after us.
That's right. I
Wanna
can
be
run
number
faster.
one.
That's right.
And Neil, did you have any thoughts?
No, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it
Good.
does.
No, and again, if anyone has any questions, or anyone in the community that's watching live today or watching later, if you have any questions, please email me. I love talking about this. I'm, very passionate about it, and I'm trying to get as educated as I can about it. And if anyone has any questions or comments, please, by all means, reach out to me and give them to me, because I'll take any kind of comments we can get.
Great, well, good, thank you. Thanks, everyone, for coming
Thank you.
out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner,
Have a
very
great
nice
day.
to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Sounds great.
Thanks.
I communicated.
Good night.
Night.
You're welcome.
Okay, so, unfortunately, our comptroller had a family emergency, so he's not here tonight. He does have an update that he likes to provide, generally quarterly, so we will see him at our next meeting. But I'm really eager and pleased to work with the chief on this product. It's
Yep.
going to be good. Okay, so.
resolutions?
Yeah, ready?
Okay, so, well, speaking of technology,
Yes.
as the board discussed, I was probably about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, about the possibility of using tablets instead of reams of paper every other week,
Yeah.
in this case. And so we're experimenting. This is this is not an advertisement, but it's an Amazon Kindle, goes for about $79. And David actually expressed interest in using his own, and our town clerk, Donna, is using her own. Is that an iPad that you have there?
Yeah, iPad.
Yeah. So Donna and I are both experimenting tonight to see how well we can deal with resolutions electronically or digitally.
I
Well,
like it
So-
already.
I think it would really be, I think it's such a good idea.
I
mean,
agree,
Like you
100%.
say,
Especially
we.
Earth Day today, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just think
Yes.
of all the paper we're going to be able to save.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tons of paper.
It's crazy.
yeah.
So
Well, thanks for
here we go.
researching that. And how is it working?
Let's see, right?
So far, so good?
See if you can read it.
Let's see if I can read it, exactly.
All right, good.
You got the long one.
Resolution 422-1 of 2019. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the application submission of the 2019 Dutchess County Shared Services Municipal Innovation Grant, MIG, for a software program for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department.
And a second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 422-2 of 2019, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Justice Clerk TESA Stokes to carry over accrued vacation time.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 422-3 of 2019, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to consent to the Town of Hyde Park's Planning Board serving as lead agency for the SEQRA review of 2 projects, to wit Cream Street Solar and Athanas East Solar.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 422-4 of 2019, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to amend the contract with Nelson Pope and Voorhees LLC to provide planning and zoning consulting services to support redevelopment in the core Pine Woods commercial area of Route 9.
A second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Just added at the dais, resolution 422-5 of 2019, resolution scheduling a public hearing on local law D of the year 2019, enacting a 6-month moratorium on telecommunications towers and facilities applications pursuant to Chapter 101 of a town code.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And when are we setting that public hearing
You
for?
have it for May 6th.
Basic.
Okay, May
Yeah,
6th.
May
So we'll
6th
have
at 7
two,
o'clock.
we will have 2 public hearings then on May 6th.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll, when is the planning board next meet? I don't know if we'll have the
Well,
comments.
it's
They
the
just
first
met.
and third
Yeah, hopefully they
Wednesday.
can rush their comments. I
Okay.
don't think they'll have much of a comment.
Okay.
And finally, the last is 4-22-6 of 2019 for the shared services.
Yes. And
Second.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. So, thanks, everyone, and
Thank you.
see you in about 2 weeks.
All right?
I make a motion to close.
Yes, motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Hey, Howie, you came out. Good, how you doing?